here she's speaking. So let's go there live and listen to what she's saying. I'll come back and tell you more about what is happening in this hall.
It is the hunger in the system that made me to bring out myself to serve the NDC party on campus. It is the hunger in the system that made me to wear the NDC paraphernalia to every lecture that I attended for 3 years now. It is that hunger that has made you to wait this long for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. I am keeping it brief because His Excellency is very tired. He is tired because of the nature of his what? His movement. Therefore, I am telling you that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is bringing change, and he is bringing the training of over 1 million coders. If you give him the opportunity. Chobai, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will train the youth in fintech. Chobai. 10 ubits. 10 SD what? Hello. We want the political party that builds, not those that rename. Hello. Builders, they create jobs. Renamers waste taxpayers' money. Hello. The money that is being spent to rebrand this campus, to repaint it because of renaming a campus after the forefathers of a political party, those monies can be channeled elsewhere. We want generational thinkers. And Chobai. I am summarizing, and I am summarizing by saying, hey, Mahama, hey.
So you have one of the charged the atmosphere. I'm told she's the first president of the University of Development Studies here, the WA campus of the University of Development Studies. She said something very significant, that they want teachers who will build the country and not waste the taxpayers' money. But as we speak, the program is still ongoing. In here are students reading different courses, and these are young people who believe in the future of this country, and for that reason are participating in the political discourse by helping people to decide on what is best for this country. And I told you John Mahama has been going around this country, and this is the time he's spending with the people in the Upper West region. So let's go there and listen to what the announcer is saying.
We're also grateful for the presence of Dr. Godfred Sedi Jasau, MP for WA East. We are grateful for making time to meet us. We have with us Professor Agbenyo, the patron of the university. We have our indefatigable heavyweight chairman Bonas, heavyweight. The leader of the parliamentary caucus of the Upper West region, Alhaji Dr. Hassan Rashid Pelpro. We have with us dignitaries from the Regional Executive Committee and other committees representing the region. We are most grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, quickly I'll call to address us the 10th patron, Professor Agbenyo.
Hey! Time is fast spent. So I want to go very straight based on protocols that are already established. I'm so elated having listened to my 10th president, Mama 10. Thank you. You have made us very, very proud, and I'm very proud of you. When we are talking about governance, for me, as a policy expert specializing in economic policy and planning, a lot of things go through my mind when I look at the state of the Ghanaian economy today. I see a former president, but for me, I do not see a former president, but I see a president that is just about to come on the 7th of December. Why am I saying this? This is somebody who has built a country. We were on a sound footing of development. And the liars quoted in what is called the liberal thinking. And that is their characteristic. The socials build and the liberals come to destroy. And if you go to economic history, it is there, written, black and white. If you take Ghana, you will get it. The socials build and the liberals come to destroy. I will not go far into history. Let's start with the immediate past government and then we compare it with the current one. And let's talk about environmental stewardship. Somebody tells us that they have sent us back 10 to 15 years. CSIR has come from the scientific point of view and says that in terms of water, it will take us 300 years for us to recover. From the scientific point of view, I am a social scientist. I didn't do that water analysis. But no hope is lost. There is hope for us. And that hope is who? JM. His Excellency. This hall is filled to capacity, not for nothing. We were hungry just to set our eyes on you in the last time you came, but it couldn't happen. And we were so happy come and visit us so that we can set our eyes on you. The capacity you see here is an assurance to you that we are unflinchingly and unwaveringly behind you. Come December 7th, you are winning hands down. Nothing is going to obliterate it. But as a scientist, this is not just to psych you up and incite you to shout. No. Let me touch on just two policies that make me assured that the history we have with JDM is going to come in the future. Let's talk about the 24-hour economy as a policy person. I don't want to go into the details. All I will say from the policy point of view is that it is a framework. And in that framework, whatever growth that is currently in existence will be tripled. That is what it means. We are working 8 hours today. And if a policy is coming and we are supposed to work 24 hours, it's 8 times 3. So we are talking about the cubic growth rate when John Dramani Mahama comes. And that is the kind of growth we need. That is the kind of growth we need to be able to save this country from the doldrum, the quagmire, and the abyss into which the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia government have pushed us into. It is that growth that we need to save ourselves. Now, when JDM says that first years going into universities will not pay school fees, it makes a lot of sense. You know why? He has set a growth into motion. And when he now follows the social expenditure, it makes a lot of sense. You don't start by saying free SHS is coming and you come and blow our heritage fund. It's an insult to our country. It's an insult to our ancestors. It's an insult to the current generation, and it's an insult to the future generation. They have disappointed us. His Excellency, I would not want to go so much because time is fast spent. I will only make one appeal. As you see this group gathered here, these are our students. And we in this system, we serve as an incubator. We train to feed the system, the public sector, the private sector, the civil society sector. In addition to that, there are policy experts. They formulate policy, they implement policies, they monitor policies, they evaluate policies. My appeal is that come December 7th, when you lay claims again to the reins of government, please look at us in terms of appointment so that we can help you to execute your policies. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Choboya! Choboy! Choboya! If you want to join the NDC, see your secretary. He will write your name. If you want to join the NDC, see your secretary. He will write your name. Hallelujah. The boys are the girls. Forevermore. The boys are the girls are. Choboya! Today, the Upper West region is privileged, and this campus and the Tain community is privileged to have the nation builder with us. For those of us who sat before the television and listened to that speech that concluded that posterity will judge us, I did shed a tear and another tear. One for myself for losing my position as a district chief executive, another for the fact that so many young men and women who had hope in the second term of His Excellency were going to go through. Oh, I did not really believe that we were going to go through these 8 years of torture. Thankfully, His Excellency has risen up to the opportunity for us to grasp the future that comes for us. I invite to the ladies and gentlemen, a fine young man who has been with this party. I invite to the podium a personality who is soft-spoken but true to his word. A personality who bears no grudge. I invite the parliamentary caucus leader of the Upper West region, Alhaji Dr. Hassan Rashid Pelipur.
Hello. Hi. Hey. Hey. The elephant is running into the bush. As I was speaking to you, I told you how Tain came into being. And I reminded you that this Tain you belong to is the intellectual youth wing of the party. And the history of it is that there was an imagination that those coming from the social development policy framework do not have thinkers to think ahead. And so we thought that because we are dealing with these reactionaries, it was important to have a youth wing like you who will keep the trend of thought, who will keep what it is to be a social democrat, who will not forget about the many, many things we have done, and who will keep reminding the people of Ghana that the NDC is different from the others. I want to ask you, in your short life as a student and as a Tain member, can't you make a practical example in demonstrating that we are different from the MPP? If you look at the Nanado Bao, is it? Yes. If you look at that administration and you look at the nation builder, Excellency John, help me to call the name, John Dramani Mahama. If you compare the two, can't you see the difference? So how will you call yourself if at the end of it all, after knowing what it is, when you carry, do you know Dan? When you carry Dan, alcohol, and you carry ordinary water, won't you see the difference? So the difference is clear. In fact, it will be an insult to Ghanaians, a breach of our democratic dispensation and principle for you to go and vote for that party. Again, he said it will never happen. Is that true? Very good. Anyway, so time is very limited. I'm not going to speak much. I already told you that when I came here and saw you talking and saw you doing all the things you were doing, it reminded me that I was like you and then became the first president of TAIN.
So Dr. Rashid Pelpo is currently about to invite His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to come to the podium, and it is for his presence here that we have hundreds of young men and women charged to see the change that John Mahama is driving to reset Ghana, to develop this country. And so Dr. Rashid Pelpo, for the records, for many of you who are watching live on Wizard TV, what is going on here is one of the founding members of the TAIN, which is the tertiary education branch of the NDC. And today he is addressing students of the UDS campus of TAIN, and John Dramani Mahama.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to keep this very short. I'll just begin by thanking all of you for your patience and your love in waiting for us this evening. Actually, this campus program was not part of the campaign program. But when I arrived in the morning, I looked at the program that I was presented with. It was to take us to all the 11 constituencies in the Upper West region. And then I asked, I said, why aren't we doing something for the young people, for the youth, like going to one of the campuses? And they said, oh, we wanted to add it, but we couldn't tell whether you would agree for it to be added. I said, you add it. And so they did. This morning we started with a meeting with your elders, the House of Chiefs, and that took us the whole morning till about midday. And so by the time we set off to go to the constituencies, it was obvious that we're going to get here late. And so at a point I called Dr. Callistus and I said, looks like we'll not be able to make this. Can you call campus and tell them that, look, we're going to come back very late, and we don't want to take up all their time. And so if you can reschedule, or we can put this off, when I come back next time, we'll do it. And he got a resounding no. And so he came and told me, he says, they say, even if you come at 4 a.m., they'll be here waiting for you. But it's midnight, past midnight, and I'm happy that you waited. Like I said, I'm going to keep it short. Bob Marley says, who feels it, knows it. And so, I'm not going to recount what we're going through as a nation, because we all live in this country, and we can feel what is going on in this country. As young intellectuals, you have the cognitive ability to be able to analyze what has happened over these last 8 years. So I don't need to go through it step by step. But all I just want to say is that, in English we say, not all that glitters is gold. And that is why I said that it is not all a useless experience having been under the leadership of Nana Addo and Bawumia. The only useful thing that we can take out of this experience is to learn a lesson and know that it's not all sweet promises that make good leaders. They say, beware of the Trojans, especially when they come bearing gifts. That's in Greek mythology. It means, beware of those who come promising you everything and plying you with gifts. It might be hiding something sinister behind it. The Quran in chapter 2, verse 216 says that it's something, but it is good for you. And the thing that you love might be what is bad for you. And so by 2016, knowing that the only way they could dislodge the NDC administration was to target whoever the leader was, and I was the leader at the time. And so they threw mud at me. At that time, I just said, no, Ghanaians should be able to discern the truth. Ghanaians will know that this is an obvious lie. I mean, about guinea fowls flying to Burkina Faso, about hotels in Dubai, about owning DKM and all that. But it did have an influence on the way people perceived me and the way they perceived our party. They used a word to describe NDC. And what they told their propagandists is, anytime you mention Mahama or NDC, add the word incompetent to it. And so every day we kept hearing it in our ears, till a time came that I think that some of our own people began to believe and have an inferiority complex to think that we're incompetent. But that is all history. Ghanaians voted, we lost, we left. And they took over. You expect that any government that takes over will move the country to the next level. Because leadership is like a baton race. You run your part of the race, you hand over the baton, and somebody runs the next part. Unfortunately, as your lecturer said, there's a certain class of people who are not intent on building the state. They are intent on making an environment where they can benefit. And so one government builds it up, another government brings it down. And it happens in democracies. If you look at the United States of America, Bill Clinton built up the American economy, and George Bush came and went to war with it and brought the economy back down. Then Obama came and built up the economy again. And then guess who came? Trump came and brought it back down. And Biden has come and is lifting it up again. So it is a cycle that happens in democratic systems. And so our destiny that God has given us is that we must always intervene when the nation is in crisis and build the nation back for the benefit of our children and our future. So I want to thank our registrar, our pro-vice chancellor, our trained patron, and my young daughter, our trained president, for your enthusiasm, your excitement, and everything that you're doing to keep the future of our party alive. Because when I see young people like you, I feel happy that our party has a future. And I consider all of you my children, because many of you are the age of Sharaf and Farida and all of them. And so I owe it as a responsibility and a duty to you to reset Ghana, bring Ghana back on its feet, so that you, the next generation, can take it and make it the land of prosperity that we all expect it to be. And so, like I said, I'm not going to speak very long. There's a mixture of you. There are those from the Technical University, those from the nursing training, and those from the College of Education, and those from University of Development Studies. First, let's talk about, what did you say, SD what? You know, if any name should have been given to this university, that name should have been the name of J.J. Rawlings. They gave him $50,000 prize money. And what did he do? He used it as a seed money to start the University of Development Studies. Normally, universities and institutions of higher learning are sometimes named after people. And sometimes their name connotes the academic career that they are pursuing there. Rawlings declined. He says, I want to live in the hearts of men. I don't want my name to be put on any monument. So, once the founder, because if you name an institute after anybody, you name it after the founder, if you have to. Once the founder declined, there was nobody had any business going to dredge up some ancient person who is the father of some political tradition and come and put his name on an institution for which he has absolutely no relationship. So, 7th January 2025, when we finish Independence Square, we will go through the process of restoring the name of this university. To simply the University of Business and Integrated Development Studies. If they want something for SDD, they must find something else for SDD. But this would be the University for Business and Integrated Development Studies. Your patron talked about what is typical about what has happened over the last 8 years. And it's not only here. It's everywhere. It's on every campus, in every secondary school, in different facilities, health facilities, everything. It's as if time came to a halt on 7th January 2017, because several projects that were taking place across the country, E-blocks, hospitals, hostels, administration blocks, lecture hall complexes, everything came to a standstill. And in 8 years, all these projects have been abandoned. And I know several of those projects on this campus. The auditorium has come to a standstill. The Atta Mills Hostel has come to a standstill. The library complex has come to a standstill. multi-complex lecture halls have come to a standstill. The administration block has come to a standstill. And several other projects that were being established on this campus. I can assure you, if you read the manifesto of the NDC, we say that our priority would be to continue and complete all abandoned and uncompleted projects. But we have other things for you, and I can't go through all of them. We have the no fee stress policy. And that means that for all your younger sisters and brothers who are coming, in the first year, they don't have to worry about academic fees. We've costed it. It's going to cost about 300 million CDs. We're going to budget for it. We're going to give the money to the student loan. They'll give it to your younger brothers and sisters as a grant, and they'll use it to pay their academic fees so that they don't have to worry about that. Then persons with disability would have fee-free education throughout tertiary. And so they don't have to worry about tertiary fees. And so those are all programs that we're bringing in to make life easier for you. But one that you would love to hear is the Bed for All program. We're going to take part of your university land. We're going to do a design of hostels. And we're going to invite the private sector to come and build the hostels. And we're going to regulate the charges of how much they can charge per bed so that as many students as possible can get accommodation on campus. We don't like the risk our students face when they have to go to Bamaho and other places to go look for accommodation. And so those are a few of the policies that I can just talk about. I can see that you're familiar with all the programs that we have, like the 1 million coders program, the FinTech Growth Fund of $50 million, and all that. All those I'm sure you've seen in the manifesto and all. With colleges of education, we will cancel your licensure exams. Your licensing as teachers will be included in your final year program. And so when you come out of school after finishing your final year program, you come out as a licensed teacher. And then for our nurses and our teachers, we're not going to wait until election year before we open the employment portal. It will be open every year and we'll continue to employ every year. Every year we'll keep employing and filling up the gap every year instead of a government that waits till it's time for elections. Then they say the employment portal is open. No, NDC is not that kind of government. We're going to improve the programs on our nursing training campuses, introduce specialized programs, degree awarding programs and all that, so that we can have self-improvement for all our young nurses who are going through school. There are several programs and things for everybody, and I'm sure that all of you are going to benefit from that. The 24-hour economic policy, I've said in our 120-day program that we would introduce the policy within 120 days of coming into government. And that policy just means accelerating our economy. I've said somewhere that if they are walking, we must be jogging. If they are jogging, we must be running. If they are running, we must be flying. And so we need to accelerate this economy. And the way we can accelerate it is not to work from 8 o'clock to 5 p.m. The way we can accelerate it is to work 24 hours round so that everybody is working continuously. And somebody says, oh, but where is the demand going to come from? I say, as president, I'm going to chair the Accelerated Export Development Program. So that for the items that we produce that are exportable, we're going to export them under the African Continental Free Trade Area. We're going to export them under AGWA. We're going to export them under our commercial relationships with the EU. But aside from that, we're also going to use Ghana's own budget, our financial muscle, to buy made in Ghana goods. And so for everything that government has to buy, we will make sure that unless it's not available, then we can buy it from abroad. But anything we're using our own taxpayers' money to buy, we will buy goods that are manufactured here in Ghana before we buy them from anywhere else. And so there is a lot that we're going to do together. The night is fast spent, like I said, and so I was not going to take too much more time. But to say that when you have lost your way on a journey, you don't keep going when you're lost. You don't keep going on the wrong course. What do? You have to change course. And so it's obvious that Ghanaians realize that we're going down the wrong direction. The Akufo-Addo administration has lost its way. The ideas are finished. It is actually totally confusing to say that my government has done this, but my government will bring me into my government, and my government will change what my government did, and then I mean, it's so bizarre. It's the first time I'm seeing a flag bearer who is a part of government, but who is also an opposition leader in his own government. But we need honest and principled leaders. It may be that you disagreed with what your government was doing, which is what he has said. He said he was only a driver's mate. He was giving advice. His driver wasn't taking it. That's what he said. But if you're a driver's mate and your driver is accelerating and overspeeding, and you say, hey driver, you're going too fast, and he doesn't listen, then he takes corner fast. Hey driver, you're going too fast. He doesn't listen. Then he does wrong overtaking. Hey driver, you're doing wrong overtaking. He doesn't listen. What do? You stop the car and you get down. But if you sit in the car and then the car goes and falls in a ditch, and after the car has fallen in the ditch, then you, the driver mate, who was warning the driver who was going to throw all of you away, you come back and say, Mama Mistiano, Mama Mistiano. They don't, it's not done like that. And like I said, Ghanaians are discerning. Ghanaians want a change. And that change is going to happen on 7th December 2024. And what I can promise you is that I have said that if people work in public office, they must be held accountable to the people, because you are paid with the taxpayers' money. When I lost the election, I didn't go anywhere. In one of my first speeches, I said, all of us are going to stay here, myself, my ministers, and we are ready for the accountability to the Ghanaian people. And I stayed here. I mean, if I had to be prosecuted, fine. Investigated, fine. And so it is my hope that after 7th January, people would also stay so that we can hold them accountable to the people. Because you know why they're desperate to have Bawumia as the next president, and why Akufo-Addo says, I will not hand over to John Mahama. It's because he knows Bawumia will come and cover up for them and prevent them from being accountable so that they can go and sit quietly and enjoy the money they have made. But Ghanaians want to know a lot of things. You received 25 billion money for COVID. You spent only 40% on it on COVID. The rest, the Auditor General cannot tell what you use the money for. Ghanaians want to know what you use the COVID money for. You sank $58 million into the most expensive pit in the whole of the world. And you don't want to account for it. Ghanaians want to know who received their $58 million and what it was used for. You messed up PDS. America withdrew $190 million. Ghanaians want to know how that happened. Ghanaians want to know how the Bost contaminated fuel that disappeared. We want to know how it happened. There are a lot of questions, Japa and all that Ghanaians want to understand and know. And the only people that can ask those hard questions, investigate and recover any money that has been looted from Ghanaians is the National Democratic Congress. And that is why on 7th December, NDC must win this election so that we can exact accountability for the people of Ghana. A government borrows us into the ground. 11.5 billion from 2018 to 2021. 11.5 billion could have fixed all the roads in this country. 11.5 billion could have done the railway lines in this country. 11.5 billion could have built all the E-blocks, all the hospitals, provided water to all Ghanaians, provided electricity to all Ghanaians. That is what 11.5 billion could have done. In my time in office, we went on the Eurobond, we borrowed only $3.4 billion. And yet look at the work we did with $3.4 billion. Ghanaians want to know what happened. And that is why I have promised that we'll hold them to account. But I've also said that we're not fighting for political power to come and make the same mistakes that the MPP has done. Ghanaians always hold the NDC to a higher standard than the MPP because they've declared themselves property-owning democracy. So Ghanaians know that anytime they come into government, all they are looking for is property, looting state lands, buying state assets, and so on and so forth. And so we can't fight for political power and come and do the same things that they do. We must raise our governance to a higher standard. And that is what the new NDC government is going to do, so that my children like you can have a brighter future in this country. Anywhere I go as an ex-president, people are astounded at what has happened in Ghana. Nkrumah put Ghana forth as the Black Star of Africa. And since then, with recurring presidents, Rawlings, Kufuor, Atta Mills, and everybody, Ghana has been a model for other countries. Countries come here to learn about our democracy, about how we manage our economy. And so of late, when I go outside and I meet my colleague, former presidents and statesmen, the question they ask me, what happened to Ghana? What happened to Ghana? And exactly what I tell them, I say, oh, a president came, Nana Akufo-Addo, and his vice president, Bawumia, and they borrowed so much money, and they didn't manage the economy well, and this is where we are. And people say, no, no, no. But we are disappointed. This is not Ghana. But, my children, let me tell you, Ghana will rise again. NDC will win the election. We have the men and women. We're going to work day and night. We're going to work with honesty to put this country back on its feet again. for the future of you, our youth, and our children. And so please don't give up hope. Have hope. We're going to create a situation where you can come out of this university, hold your head up high, and be able to find something responsible to do, find a job to do, or even become an entrepreneur and own your own business and also become an employer instead of an employee. And that is what this university is teaching you to do. And so, let me thank you very much for your patience. Time is fast spent. By God's grace, all of you must be party agents on 7th December 2024. Please, if even you are not placed there as a party agent, at 5 p.m. go to your polling station where you voted and go and help to make sure that everything is recorded faithfully and accurately. Take your mobile phones with you, video everything that happens there, take pictures of the pink sheets and everything, and put them on your status, publish them, so that nobody can go and change any figures again. That is what I expect of you on 7th December. We're all not going to sleep for 48 hours. We're only going to sleep when you hear the announcement that NDC has won the presidential and the parliamentary elections. So thank you very much. Honorable Rashid Pelpo is our candidate for the parliamentary. I am the candidate for the presidential for Wa Central constituency. Some of you might be voting in other constituencies, but wherever you're voting, vote for JM and then also vote for your parliamentary candidate. Teach your mothers and your grandmothers how to vote and teach them how to look for the umbrella. They should just look for the umbrella. And where some of them don't know how to vote, there's assisted voting. You can walk with them to the polling station. They will ask the presiding officer for assisted voting, and they'll be allowed to go with you into the polling booth to help them to vote, so that we don't get any spoiled ballots. So thank you very much. God richly bless you. Thank you.
And so John Dramani Mahama had just wrapped up, and this is his last stop in the Wa Central constituency, and this is how he is ending his tour of the Upper West region. I am sure that the next time you see John Mahama out there campaigning will be the Greater Accra region. Thank you very much.